Nice and kind, leading cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Sing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what he'll say. Nice and kind, leading cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Sing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what he'll say. Nice and kind, leading cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Sing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go 7, go 7, go 7, go 7. Go7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what he'll say. Nice and kind, leading cobalt ice.
Dun 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 dun. Fluff. Fluffy first with the fluff. I know the stream is super late. Fluff. But we're here, we're here. We're late, but we're here. It's okay, it's okay. I'm not sure if I should start with the headpats from Senpai. They seem to have been here last time, so I guess I'll skip them and come back to them maybe. Another cat with yarn. I feel like we did one very recently. Okay. Eagle versus Hawke. You do try and sneak in after you've given up. Oh, hey, Best Friend Senpai, you are here. Wow, okay, then we'll do yours. You were on point. You were on point. You were not delaying me. That's true. Now, other people are using the internet for important business calls. So I was like, you know what? The stream's just gonna have to wait for a bit. Hey, Patrick Senpai playing his Green Earth. Savage. But that also gave me time to restart the internet once they were done, so we should be golden. Ooh, you're about almost a 1200 against an almost 1400? That's a pretty big gap. That's a pretty big gap. I'll give some time for people to trickle on in. I haven't decided what game to stream for Valentine's Day yet. Maybe Stardew Valley. Someone has suggested that Sayonara Wild Hearts. I don't know what that is. Do a quick Google search. At 10 out of 10 on Steam, huh? Dreamy arcade game about riding motorcycles, skateboarding, dance, battling, shooting lasers, and wielding swords. Came out in 2019. All right. All right, I'm sold. I'll play that. We'll play Sayonara Wild Hearts. Description does sound intense. 6 months ago. Okay. This map was the map that made me want to learn Eagle. You learned that Max is apparently good here. I think they're both good. I think all of the COs are good. Maybe Sami can somewhat struggle, but the HQ is definitely capturable. You're still playing the Bug Tower Defense game. I streamed a dating sim last time. I did a Hato full boyfriend. It was alright. It was alright. The problem is most dating sims are, you know, they have a really slow burn. So a 2 hour, even if I went to a 4 hour stream, is probably not gonna really get it good. We got a couple of games going on this map. Okay, we got some people coming. Let's hop into it. We got headpats from Senpai playing as Eagle in the top left against Testu. I recognize Testu's name. I also recognize headpats from Senpai. Playing as Olaf in the bottom right. The map is Sahara, and off we go. So usually what happens on this map is that there's a huge push from these two bases. They come down, they destroy everything in their path, and then there's like this attack on the HQ, usually with a bajillion infantry and some indirects against like heavy vehicles and some air right here. And that just kind of happens like this when the same thing happens right here. And then sometimes there'll be some tiffs that happen in the middle, but for the most part the middle is a kind of dangerous place to hang out. You can get absolutely bopped by how close the airport is to everything, so it can be very easy to overextend to the middle. Sometimes people will get a nice advantage by going or by doing some shenanigans around this city and this bridge. You can trap stuff. If they come onto this bridge to attack your capturing infantry, for instance, then if you can sneak something here and then just keep your infantry here, their unit is trapped and you can kill it off in the next turn and stuff like that. Over here, I find that this harbor, going for the harbor first, can feel very awkward because at first glance, it looks like you can go from the harbor straight to this city, but this is actually an ocean tile, not a river tile. So this doesn't really chain into anything. So normally I would recommend either going over here to get this city airport chain, which is pretty nice, or you can go straight into the middle to get this two property chain, or you can go over here and start getting these properties before your opponent gets really close to you. I think all three of those are pretty decent starting options. It's not that the harbor's necessarily bad, it's just that it's kind of a lone property that you're in no real rush to get. Getting the airport's nice because you get in the airport. There's contested properties over here. There's contested properties in the middle. Those all feel way more valuable to me than going straight for the harbor. But both players go for the harbor, so no worries there. You like how headpats from Senpai isn't pretending to capture the city. Yeah. Voice of Akasha would be upset with you, but I'm okay with you doing that. There would have to be some sort of wild opener to really have that be a considerable threat. It's possible that battleships want it, I guess. Go for that classic Eagle battleship. It fires twice. Yeah. This is fine. You know, you go to the harbor and then you go for this property cap. It just slows down these captures and your opponent can potentially interrupt you. We have the tank. I think of all the cities or all the bases to build from, this is probably the best one to build a tank, is this base has a lot of properties it's responsible for capturing. this one does too, and this one, you know, for the most part, it's done. The infantry's gone down here to get this city, and then it can go over here to get the comm tower in this city. This airport's already captured, so the only thing you could really do is send an infantry out towards the middle, and you kind of already got one doing that. So, if you're going to build a vehicle instead of an infantry somewhere, this is definitely the best base to do it. Headpats from Senpai agrees with this course of action. Does the exact same thing. In fact, they're almost... not quite mirrored, but they're pretty close. Okay. And this is where the tank's up here, and now suddenly these properties are under threat. Which can be annoying, but if Headpats from Senpai either probably gets a tank and then later on a copter and can try and hold on over here pretty nicely. This tank is currently threatening this property. It's not going to be able to interrupt it, but it could be really annoying to just hit that infantry if it doesn't get covered by this artillery. It's a little interesting to go for an artillery here by Testu. I would much rather have infantry or a tank because, or I have the artillery on this side if I'm going to build an artillery, because there's always a surplus of infantry on this side, and that's always a good combination, infantry plus artillery. But in the middle, not only do you usually have a distinct lack of infantry due to having only one base that directly feeds into it, but also you have to contend with your opponent's airport that can mess you up. Because not only can you, because normally you can just like wall against the land units, sure, but the air units will just fly over all these ocean tiles and scoot around and go beat up your artillery and make you really sad. So it's a little daring here, especially to go double artillery. Against an eagle, too. But we'll see how it goes. Okay, we'll see how... yeah, Advancement Senpai decides to go with the tank into the middle. This is to try and discourage... ooh... I was going to say this is trying to discourage this from getting hit, but we'll see how this goes. Testu can go for a tank first strike and then back it up with an artillery. The Headpats from Senpai is kind of like going to suck up this hit and then go after the artillery, I imagine is the plan. The problem is the artillery can actually guard itself with a copter by. The tank comes here, hits from the city, and the artillery goes here. Then the copter, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, actually guards the artillery, which is pretty juicy. Oh, it looks like we're not even going to attack from the city, attack from the shoal. Guard here. Well, it's still a pretty nice tank trade. That's a little weird. Okay. They're still capturing the same amount of time. Okay. That's fine. It's going to be slightly favorable for Testu. The copters doesn't reach, but this shooting the shoal tank will be more tank damage dealt to Headpats from Senpai, but it's possible that the overall vehicle count will end up being in Headpats' favor if both tanks survive. Which is, you know, it's a value to it. There's a value to that. Okay, it gets down to 2. Here you usually just kill this off with 2 infantry strikes. If you're really greedy, you could have, before firing with the artillery, you attack with the 5 health infantry first, so it dies on retaliation. Then you fire with the artillery, and then you use these 2 infantry to kill off the tank. And then you're just net 5 damage on the tank from the whole exchange. Okay. So definitely, if you see a low health tank, you want to attack that with infantry. because the amount of retaliation you take is very little, and the potential to kill it with just relying on your base infantry damage and the luck rolls is very nice. It's very much worth it. We don't have we have another artillery over here. It's gonna try to hold the line with very few guards. We'll see what they can do. No anti-air is a little iffy. So we're just gonna have Testu try to use a copter to fend off a copter. Both players ended up just getting both of these center cities. Rather uncontested. There's a little bit of a tank fight. These two tanks will skedaddle on out of here. So, in overall, headpats from Senpai did 10 tank health and value damage to Testu, and Testu did, what, 13? So slightly more value dealt to headpats, but headpats has the better vehicle count, so we'll see. AA is for cowards. Real commanders throw infantry into copters only if they're Luxios. Yeah, a 5 health tank might be a little too iffy to attack. It's also not unheard of, though. Especially if it's on a shoal, because then it has no defense bonus to deal with the luck rolls and stuff like that. I'd say 5 health is about the range I would consider start swinging infantry at it. 4 and below is like definitely do it. Unless you need those infantry specifically for captures. You got your 3rd and 4th Global League matches on the way, and your 4th one got you a bit scared. I'm glad you've started playing more games. Okay, tank has made it all the way back to the HQ, nice and safe. We have the you can see what I was talking about with like the huge wave of infantry kind of come crashing down against the HQ sides. It's pretty much happening on both areas here. So it's going to come, there'll be a moment where they're going to have to decide with how they want to invest in either being aggressive towards the enemy's HQ or being more defensive towards their own. So tech ups and sometimes even like rockets and stuff can be built to try and defend your own HQ. Ooh, Testu got the 30% chance to get the kill there. So yeah, there's a huge surplus of infantry here for Testu in comparison to headpats. So anytime you can start trading out infantry in that kind of situation, you're really happy. Even if it was a bad infantry attack, you tend to go for it. Just because there's like 4 headpats infantry here, and there's over double that for Testu. So if Testu can get an even trade of 4 for 4, be very, very happy. 0 infantry against like 6. Kind of the same thing down here. Now there's only 2 infantry left for Testu, and quite a bit more than 2 incoming. And once once you're out of infantry, you have a really hard time fighting your opponent's infantry, because the infantry have like in Magic the Gathering it's called keyword bad. They're bad units in comparison to vehicles. If it feels horrible to spend even a 7,000 or a 6,000 value unit attacking an infantry that's then guarded by a vehicle. It becomes almost impossible to win any fight if you have no infantry and your opponent's got plenty. to throw in your way. Because the value trades just go so poorly for you. Testu going ham here. Got multiple cities under threat. I do like the pulling back by Testu here. If Testu tried to like push forward into this, all of the units just end up dying. We'll also report your second Global League match was unfortunately a loss. You did the exact opposite of what I told you to. You overextended and you paid heavily. Yeah, I mean, that's what happens. But when you overextend, it's so sad. How goes the ladder climbing in live? I have not done any of the ladder climbing in live. Maybe I'll do one of these Wednesdays. I'll play my very first live league game. It will be historic. This is a pretty interesting choice by headpats. So we might be just letting this city go, instead going for this little breakthrough to hit the artillery. It can sometimes be dangerous to go for hits on artillery because they're still really useful even at 5 health. But if there's not enough follow-up to make it super scary, then this works out. And to be fair, Headpats is trying to capture 4 cities here. So losing just one isn't that big of a deal for sure. Okay, this is where keyword bad starts coming to play, where you have a copter expose itself to hit an infantry, copter expose itself to hit artillery. That's kind of okay. Copter has to hit itself, expose itself to hit a tank, artillery. Yeah, the anti-air is going to be very valuable because there happens to be 4 copters in range here by for Eagle against 4 Olaf copters. Eagle ones are rather strong. It's going to be a very painful turn for Olaf. Especially because copters are really valuable units, so it's not even unheard of for Headpats to get an Eagle super off of this. Could you just go Eagle normal power and go for really good copter exchanges? But yeah, I think I'm almost surprised that this tank retreated. It to me it looks like very valuable sacrifice fodder should that be needed to get the lightning strike. You can see how good Eagle copters are when attacking. And then the infantry bop them down. Very nice. Yeah, I'm pretty surprised. I think I could be wrong. But I think an Eagle Super was very possible here. If we sacrifice this 4 health tank, that's another I guess that's only another 2,800. You still need to find like 10,000 charge somewhere. Maybe it's not possible. I mean, you can definitely sacrifice the 3 health or find a way to do that. I don't know. It would probably be pretty close. The super would be devastating though. One, two, three, four, five. I guess the artillery would fire here. You could probably break through and get this anti-air. Well, here comes a Winter Fury. It's going to be good. Does a nice, clean 20,000. That's pretty good. The artillery count down here have been severely injured. I'm kind of surprised that there's actually only tanks, but I would have thought artillery would be incoming to revitalize these. Poor artillery. Oh, a mech was built, not an anti-air? What? I guess it's down to just 2 Eagle Copters at this point. But still. So, yeah. Winter Fury, pretty good. As Eagle, you always get to decide, do I want to try Lightning Strike in the snow, or do I want to just hold on to my Lightning Strike till a brighter day? I imagine this is just going to be held on to. Okay, never mind. That's a really sad copter attack. Thinketh, striketh. Things can erupt here. Erupt. I feel like holding the lightning strike might have been better. But at least they'll be able to take out this copter. The anti-air is still going to be pretty nasty though. This is a good breakthrough at the top, though. Yeah. Can knock this anti-air down to 5. Able to hold for the most part around this HQ. Still have a decent push over here. Okay. I'm on board. I'm surprised that copter didn't attack the artillery. What was that copter? Poor headpats, almost completely out of copters. Healing up in the center, we're gonna go strikes. Take out that copter. Shoot with the anti-air. I like it. Healing up anti-air, always very valuable. I guess this is okay. The idea is that the artillery is gonna fire on the tank anyway. Copter doesn't want to strike here. I guess the mech is somewhat forced to. Huh. I mean, that seems like a weird choice. I guess it's just fear of the anti-air. I thought we'd have you strike from here, and it breaks the wall. Maybe it's not good enough, though. And it's very possible that headpats can just kind of take this city back anyway. I would usually recommend just keeping this infantry in this corner. Unless you're feeling very confident that you're not going to get pushed back. tank runneth away. Still lots of artillery. Yeah, I'd say headpats is doing pretty good here. I'm not a huge fan of losing the city, but it is what it is. And the fighting elsewhere on the map is looking really nice. You even got to take out all of those copters. There's no great follow through to deal with this anti-air or this artillery though. So there will be some very painful retaliation. There we go. I do like more artillery on the way over here. I think I'd prefer to get some more copters, but if the money just didn't line up, then the money didn't line up. We do get hit with another Winter Fury. It's also painful. It does quite a bit of damage. And there's also still a ton of charge left for headpats from Senpai for getting the next super. Okay, I mean, the joining up units, that's fine. Usually you want to join up units before you get hit with the Winter Fury, not after. But if you just want them to be nice and full health units, then that's fine. The reason you want to join them before rather than after is because that reduces the amount of damage you end up taking. Like if you have 2 5 health tanks and you hit with a Winter Fury, you take 4 health and tank damage. But if you join them up to a 10 health tank, you only take 2 health and tank damage. You have the amount of damage you take. But if you do it after, then I mean, you still took the same amount of damage. Yeah, giving up cities if it means getting kills can be good. It can be good. It's just that sometimes it can be risky. If they manage to stabilize on the front regardless, and then you're just down the city. You can see how much on this map. These are the war zones. In the middle, it's just not very appealing. Sometimes you can get a front shift through the middle. If you're like, you know what, I'm going to give up on attacking their HQ. I'm just going to try and flank their own attacking forces to get like a sandwich going on. That can sometimes happen. Okay, we have a breakthrough. Managed to hit one of the artillery. It's a pretty nasty breakthrough. It's gonna be very painful on this retaliation turn, but there's always the worry with the artillery of, do I fire with them or do I retreat with them? Because if you fire, but then you're not able to do enough damage to actually stop the opponent from taking you out, you can end up going negative. Always fire. We'll see, we'll see. Ooh, what's this tank gonna do? It kind of doesn't want to get too involved. If it hits here or here, it gets bopped from this tank. If it hits over here, then it gets bopped from the copter, which is like the worst case scenario. So it just chills, which also sucks. Another worry, of course, should be the fact that headpats and Senpai getting mighty close to getting a lightning strike. Especially since there was a copter available to hit an anti-air. We do have a 3 health infantry to go for a sacrifice, but I don't think 3 health infantry plus full health tank quite kills this guy. So It looks like we're not going to have a lightning strike this turn. But for sure, next turn, it will be possible. Yeah, this is always one of those really tricky situations where you've got your copter here, like specifically to fight an opposing copter. And you even have a copter chain. But the problem is you're fighting, Testu, you're fighting eagle copters that are in a copter chain, and there's a super coming. So this will become very quickly a losing battle. It's like this copter just flies over, one-shots your copter, and then you'd already be in a negative situation. But then the lightning strike happens, and then you lose this copter too. I would not recommend fighting eagle in a copter v copter war. At least if it's coming down to copter chain. Sometimes if you're in copter swarms, you can get away with it by Winter Fury just being amazing. Or if your opponent's the one that has the longer copter chain, so that when the Winter Fury hits, that it gets broken up. Yeah, this is going to be a very painful turn. The lightning strike. Tank sacrificed itself to get that mecha. The base completely cleared. We're down to 3. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty nasty. Testu got knocked all the way down to 12 units. This is going to have to be an amazing Winter Fury. It did do its classic like 20k or so. And we did get the breakthrough, so the anti-air got to strike at the copter. HQ is definitely under a lot of threat though. Luckily this anti-air is down to 3, so it doesn't quite have a lock on this airport. But you still have to deal with the fact that this HQ is going to be very quickly getting captured here. That's that's not really a worthwhile attack. You might as well just keep the anti-air around as a blocker, because if you knock something down to 7 and then on their turn it regenerates all the way, or repairs all the way up to 9, you might as well have not even attacked. I'm surprised there wasn't an anti-air built to come on down here. Seemed like GG for a while. Yeah, I would say this looks very much in your favor at this point. Some of the weaker units getting picked off. We're at 28 properties to 18. Even do a join cap here and be really annoying. Join cap backed up with artillery. What is happening? You can see just how annoying that is. It's like the tank. I mean, in this case, the copter's kind of forced to strike. If the tank strikes, it just gets absolutely blown away. Testu trying to hold their ground here. The tank is the one that moved in here to strike. Well, it's going to get absolutely blown away, like I said. And then Testu resigns, yeah. That's a good resign. It's going to be hard to come back down 10k. The medium tank probably get taken out with the copter and tanks and medium tank strikes. The no anti-air down here means that these copters would have been able to probably keep this HQ alive, but it still would have been real nasty. GG. GG. Yeah, all of those copter first strikes being offered was real good. I don't know if it was possible for you to get the lightning strike on that turn, but if so, I think that would have been a good game on that moment. And you were playing against someone that was with 200 rating more than you, so you did a really good job. It would have been close, but not enough. That would have been really bad if you go for the Eagle Super and then it just kind of falls flat. This map again. It's a hope forlorn. We have Eagle versus Hawke. The birds, they be fighting in the sky. Hawke, it's kind of like fighting Olaf, except you don't have to deal with the snow, and there's an actual day-to-day to deal with, to be scared of. Another map you have games on? Yeah, this map can stall a lot. The basic strategy for winning at CatWithYarn is shadow. Shadow. But the basic strategy for winning on this map is you go pretty heavy vehicles from your 2 base. You threaten to go down this route with them, which makes them build the vehicles from their 1 base, and then you say JK lol, and you slam into the middle. Try and take all these properties with the vehicle superiority, because all of the vehicles that your opponent built in this 1 base can't travel over this line of mountains, so you just kind of have a huge vehicle advantage inherently. And that's the basic strategy for winning on this map that both players should have in mind, so that they don't end up over investing in their 1 base and getting just kind of wrecked in this very property heavy center. Are you out Hawke power before Eagle Super? You could do that. The airport is very far away, so it takes a long time to get established. It's good once it's established because copters can fly over mountains, so that could be a better unit to try and hold down this front. Because if your opponent then swaps over towards the center, your copters just fly over the mountains and follow. There's some recon openers on this map. There's some APC openers on this map. There's double APC openers if you're a gamer god. But for the most part, you'll see a lot of tank openers. Just trying to get that classic move of I build tanks, I try and make you build medium tank or a bunch of tanks from this base, and I just hit you over here. Or a penguin god. Or there's 3 times recon openers, yeah. Yeah, and sometimes airports get captured. It's very awkward by the opponent. Very rare. The airport's pretty safe because it's completely surrounded by mountains, so you can't just lock it down with an anti-air. You have to lock it down with a missile when you're approaching by land. No, on this map, Eagle just stalls. Eagle just stalls until there's a giant line of units. Very expensive units, bombers, stealths, mega tanks. And then Eagle says, I take 2 turns and wins the game. There's a very famous game on this map. I think it's between Eagle and Deadly Shadow, is that right? And it was a Sasha versus Eagle matchup. And that's exactly what happened. The game stalled. And it doesn't matter if Sasha can wipe your power bar, if there's such expensive units that you can just get the Eagle power in a single turn. Okay, so CatWithYarn cranking out the tanks. We do have a single tank being built from the lone base. That's okay. Ideally, you can kind of try and protect this by just being aggressive. Over here, we can see that the Eagle player has 2 tanks built from here. So you gotta be really careful there. Oh, 3 tanks. So right now, CatWithYarn should be thinking, aha, I now just completely ignore this. I can shut down these tanks trying to escape the mountain range by just having my reinforcements of these 2 bases covering this area. And instead I strike into the middle right now. And then hopefully that means that this tank will be able to join the fight. This is a little bit slow, but it's okay. CatWithYarn can afford to be a lot more aggressive here. Like, this tank can be really far forward as long as it's covered by another tank. There's only 1 tank that can attack, and it's just not going to be able to deal with 2 tanks. Okay. So here, these infantry, they think they're safe. CatWithYarn can just kind of attack. Same with like this guy. Might as well go in for the attack when you got this nice vehicle superiority. Got a little bit of attack going on. It's a little too scared. It can be tough to see, but when you have way more tanks available, you are no longer scared of your opponent first striking you. Because if both tanks go for a first strike, then they'll kill 1 of your tanks, or they'll hit 2 of your tanks, but then you have another 2 tanks or 3 tanks available to just wipe them out. So you'll end up ahead, and you were able to get the first strikes in on the infantry capture and stuff like that. So you just kind of get a really nice advantage. What you really want is to make it so that these tanks just cannot escape this little mountain range. Because once they escape, they can join up with these units, and then you no longer have that really nice advantage. You're gonna find another rival in fluhfie, huh? Good luck. Good luck. There we go. Start getting some swings in here. Bop, bop. Maybe you don't attack the tank on the city necessarily unless there's follow-up. You can always go after the infantry. Just be in range of your fellow tanks. I mean, this isn't terrible. Yeah, it still works out fine. It's like this gets knocked down to 2. Maybe it gets taken out by infantry, but there's enough other units here to kill off the tanks. She didn't end up attacking it. Yeah, look at this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tanks for the Eagle player. They're pretty much doing nothing over here unless you put something in their range. Yeah, I do agree. I think these artillery are a little bit slow. I do like the medium tanks way more. I don't know why a tank's being built over here. Just keep building the vehicles over here. Use them to contain this. These vehicles are trying to escape. Just like keep building medium tanks and anti-airs, for instance. And then control this little mountain pass and take everything in the middle. The mountain pass isn't quite guarded. Eagle's able to sneak some tanks out. But not quite, because that medium tank can now hit that tank, and then we can have this tank come in and hit from the city. We have a little bit of a chain going on. There's a Neo tank from Eagle. Bop. And the artillery are unfortunately not getting a ton done here. Ooh. I would have liked this to have been much more aggressive in attacking down here and then striking from the city so that all of these tanks will be trying to fight within the quick reinforcement range and a medium tank. So many artillery coming out for CatWithYarn. I'd much rather just stick to the tank idea, but yeah, these guys have now escaped the mountain range. The trouble is afoot. The medium tank still gets to get some nice swings though. Outside of the Neo tank range, it was a pretty good attack. Ooh, it looks like we're just gonna let Eagle get this city. Yeah. Well, so these are kind of like defensive walls that CatWithYarn have set up, but this is playing way too scared. Especially against Eagle, because against Eagle these walls are meaningless. The nice thing about walls is that they stop a single vehicle attack, but Eagle can always break through with a super available. I don't know how Eagle... Oh, Eagle has the 1K income leeches. Central City. Nice little first strike over here. These copters are just back in. It's very scary here for Hawke. You really like to get your Hawke super before a lightning strike gets activated, so that all of the units are at least injured when they're getting their double attack on you. We'll see how this goes. Still need a whole bar of charge for CatWithYarn. That's one way to get it. It's always a very painful option, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Did like 30,000 or so. That's pretty good. And then you get a nice breakthrough, hit the artillery. That's good. I'd probably run away a little bit further. It might not matter too much though. Okay, so Lightning Strike is available. Everything's been injured. And the Hawke units have their plus 10% firepower. Wow. Look at that medium tank go. I mean, it's a 7 attack. 7 health Neo tank attack. But good on that medium tank. Okay, the units being damaged is definitely mattering quite a bit. We'll see if this Lightning Strike even gets that much done. The Neo tank getting bopped so hard is very painful. It's kind of losing the exchange. Oh no. The bomber thought it had something to do, but it doesn't. That was a very awkward Lightning Strike. If at the end of your Lightning Strike your opponent still has more value than you, you're crying. Although Eagle is way up in unit count. So many artillery. This artillery probably should have fired because it's not too much safer being back here. And yeah, you got like stuff coming in to attack whatever attacks it. Okay, go back to heal. Copter kills off the medium tank. No. Medium tank just needed to kill the Neo tank. This bomber really, really wants to hit this anti-air. Really bad. And I think you can just use your own anti-air to clear the way to do so, yeah. Now the bomber is like, yeah, happy days. Nothing can touch me. There's another anti-air on the way, but it's gonna have to be on the way, but it's gonna have to be chained with another one, otherwise the bomber just goes and squishes that one too. I'm surprised we didn't have a little bit more of an attack up into this, but that's okay. An Eagle just resigns. Wow. I don't think it's quite resign time. I mean, this city is probably going to fall, but it looks like Eagle can retreat with this army and keep most of it alive. And there's still a nice unit count lead. I mean, unit value is definitely in CatWithYarn's favor, though. And at this point, these units are kind of looking a little isolated. CatWithYarn has a nice position here, holding off the little mountain pass. GG. Yeah, I mean, if Eagle got the first super, then that would have been pretty nasty. Well, well done, CatWithYarn. I would have been a little more aggressive, I think, with the play style, really leveraging the fact that Eagle had so much invested in the one base side. And to do that, you would just build less artillery and go more tanks, slam straight into the middle. Tanks and copters. And medium tanks. Okay. Next we got Baja Sword. Keatonfox. Now you'll wait your game on this exact map. A couple weeks. Nice. The peeping recons. To Athos. I've fought tortured on this map a few times, yeah. I really don't like this map. But it's in here. Okay, we'll see how these guys go about it. We have Eagle versus Olaf. It's definitely a pretty nice map for Eagle. You have triple airports. And lightning strikes can do some serious damage. I imagine the snow can be really good too. But you're going to have lower unit counts overall because it is just double base. So that will make Olaf a tiny bit worse too. I imagine most of the games here are Max versus Eagle. There are some artillery things that matter. But there's some really strong early game vehicles, so. Max is pretty viable in base light stuff usually. And he's still got good copters. Not as good as Eagle copters. I would imagine Eagle's probably the best pick. Triple airport, you can still make use of the good artillery positions. You know your opponent has a penchant for copter spam. Does that mean you enter into the anti-air spam? RD first. And it can definitely be a little bit risky. Not so much on this side though. Your opponent's not going to expect you to go RD first, so they're not going to like slam into you. You picked Olaf. Or were you planning to try and stall the game to oblivion? God. His artillery didn't even move. You'd either... I would have expected you to either move to this forest or to this tile. Depending on how you want to defend this capture. Just barely dodges all the vision. Recon gets bopped down to 1, but it survives. It might have been worth it to step the infantry onto the mountain so that you could then go tank plus infantry strike to kill off the recon. Guaranteed. You'd go to the tank strike first to see if it died, of course. Just because you don't like having one health recons either way. Is artillery still chilling here? Yeah, this is the typical spot that you see the artilleries go for. With this exact idea in mind, the artillery guards all of these. Really annoying to attack into. Oh. Okay. When artillery first and you attack the pipe seam, that's a very risky strategy. Because that reveals that you went artillery first over here if your opponent was checking. Usually, I usually just get a transport copter to get these, because you need to get a transport copter to get this airport. Regardless. Firing at the pipe seam. So yeah, this is a very secure position for keatonfox. And then keatonfox is going to get this property. Be like, I now have a small advantage. For the rest of the game, potentially. Ooh, okay, we give a nice interrupt. Oh, you weren't paying attention to it? Ah. Well, if you had seen that, you could have been very aggressive. Gotten even more of these properties. Laugh at me now. What? No. Now I'm very confused. The artillery to break down the pipe seam and then still get the T-copter. You can also go with a black boat, which can be cute. Because having control over these shoals can be really nice. Even if it's just a black boat standing there or standing here. As these central fights begin. Ooh. Fox charging forward. A little bit of a recon strike here. Airport. Keatonfox is now getting the transport copter. There's a couple ways to go about all this nonsense. You can try to fly around this way, or you can drop off over here and then fly around this way, or whatever. Got a whole bunch of options. Very sad news for Baja Sword here. The anti-air is prepared. We got multiple tanks. Got decent vision already. Smackety, smackety, smackety. I think that could be... Yeah, here you probably don't finish off this tank, and instead you do 2 tank swings to kill off the artillery on the city. It also comes with the advantage of being more protective of the anti-air. Because what you don't want to have happen is the artillery shoots your anti-air and the copter hits your anti-air and you don't have an anti-air anymore while there's an airport right there. Okay, it's not quite enough damage to go for that. It's still got knocked down to 5. No fear attacking up here. The artillery gets taken out, but we don't have another backup anti-air for Keatonfox over here. I guess this one's going to sneak its way on over. Oh, it's not. They try and hold the line for these cities. Anti-air. The tank attacked the copter. It did 2 damage. Okay. No anti-air over here? I don't know. I don't know about that. Well, the units do live, and it's very. I don't know about very easy. It's a lot easier in fog to keep your low health units alive by just retreating into the darkness and then repairing on your cities. And we're definitely gonna have a Winter Fury. So sad that the recon died. But it's very happy for Baja Sword. Very sad for keatonfox. There is definitely going to be a Winter Fury this turn. I have a bunch of attacks. Winter Fury. Hit the tank. Reveal the tank. Copter hits the tank. Anti-air. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It can't reach the copter. Goes after the tank strike and stands next to a tank. Brave anti-air. Yeah, definitely just run away over here. Okay, so it looks like we probably aren't going to have a lightning strike. We might. I mean, copter attack would probably get them there, but no, we're not. So then we get to enter into the fun part. So there wasn't a lightning strike used. What that means is Olaf will probably have some decent attacks this turn, but also that when Eagle does use a lightning strike, it will probably give a whole super to Olaf. And you'll be at essentially 2 lightning strikes. Or, I mean, 2 Winter Furies per lightning strike in the game so far. And that's often decent for Olaf. Ooh. Especially now that... So both of these COs are very much super focused. So anytime they're getting overcharged, it can be really painful. I mean, Eagle is the most super focused CO in the game. So much so that sometimes getting overcharged isn't so bad because you're planning to just win the game off of your super anyway. So you don't really expect to get multiple supers. But it can still be very painful to get overcharged. Sometimes you have to use a super to stabilize and then rely on another future super that would win the game. Fighter come out, huh? Fighters are usually not a unit you see used against Eagle when the super's online, because anti-airs will just completely bop them with the double moves. But there is a bomber here, so there could be some very cute situation. The bomber flies out to a spot it thinks is safe, and then the fighter just zooms in and knocks it out. You were expecting a bomber, well, there you go. So Olaf is up by 4k income, which is pretty nice, one could say. We're gonna start a little fight over here by this city. I like it. Eagle is definitely worse in fog because you don't have that perfect information of where the opponent's units are to set up your lightning strikes. So Eagle can sometimes overly rely on the opponent blundering a bit. See, we definitely have a really nice advantage right now for Olaf, and look at how much charge has already been granted. We might be going in for the lightning strike this turn. We must be, because these units are just flying forward. And that's that problem with the eagle and fog. It can be difficult to get actual value out of everything. Is it still just 29? Yeah. It used to be less. It used to be 25, I think. Which was outrageous. The bomber gets a hit on this Neo tank. I had a game against Rice Muncher where I just kind of won by capture while we still had standing armies fighting and everything. Yeah, rest in peace, Neo, indeed. And there's no healthy anti-air either. So very good bomber attack. The swarm of copters, indeed. The fighter barely dodges this anti-air. Here comes the Winter Fury. That was a 40,000 damage Winter Fury. Yeah, so keatonfox here is indeed trying to focus down a bunch of infantry. The Winter Fury helps with that too. That's just to make sure that Eagle doesn't get any more captures, or at least gets any speedy rate. His anti-air is going to be the next target for keatonfox, and then the fighter can feast. The anti-air has exposed itself to potential attacks here. The joint captain for this property. Fighter says hello to the bomber. I think this tank can finish off this anti-air. Ooh, fighter's got a lock on the airport. That is pretty nasty. All of the cities are so far being held by keatonfox. Maybe a little bit of an overextension here by the Eagles. I mean, Eagles' army attack in here did a ton of damage, but now it's just getting countered by buys. And no captures are coming out from that really nice lightning strike. It was definitely a strong one, though. We have a central fighter. Whoa. It's pretty rare to see a 1 health infantry fight on the shoals and no one dies. Ooh, just go straight for a blizzard, huh? This is because going for this capture will be GG, I imagine. Fighters are really good blockers. There's the GG. Baja also notices that the cap limit's about to be reached. Well played, well played. Wait a second. Oops. Wasn't Baja... Baja has the super here. Is it not possible to kill, to injure this with the super? You can just build a rocket. Rocket and fire. I mean, it's still a really nasty situation to be in, for sure. But you can save that city. See if I can sneak in one more game. Got Dark Raider versus Quick Slow on Quota Lota. Is the fighter on the wrong side? Question mark. Your fighter got work done. That's an L, not an I. What? This map does look a little awkward. Get double airports. The HQs are a little bit all on their own. Man, it's a very awkward reinforcement routes for these bases. Sturm would like this map. Sturm would have a lot of fun on this map. You get to this base faster, you get to these properties faster, you wouldn't care about all these forests. I mean, I feel like you just cannot remove this black boat from this HQ. It's so dangerous. Flash could have some fun here. If that was Quota Iota, maybe it is. This map is where every match is an Olaf mirror in tier 2 even more than usual, huh? Love Grim on this one. Okay. Well, now we have Drake versus Kindle. Drake is an interesting pick. Didn't notice we moved immediately off of HQ. Because this is a double airport map, so I wouldn't have thought that Drake would be the way to go. But maybe it's fine because they just end up having a bunch of units and they get wrecked by the super. We are going to go for a transport copter as Drake, which is a move that I really like doing. Because it might have been better to just have this guy go for this capture, hop into the transport copter. Or maybe that doesn't work actually. But I really like having Drake go for transport copter because that gives you it makes use of your airport without suffering from the minus attack. Drake is for people who can't play the game, let it play it for you. That's just global damage. The common global damage complaints. I know, the boat move for both players. No fear. I would have a lot of fear. But they have no fear. Those HQs, they be mighty lonely. Dark Raider has now... Oh, wait, no. Quick Slow is the one that got a T-Copter, not Dark Raider. My bad. Well, I would have expected Drake to get the T-Copter. In this case, Quick Slow is going to go for it. That's still fine. You saw an Andy mirror on this map and it was interesting. So Drake spots a bunch of infantry to attack with this recon. Also spots that the HQ is full. That says high. That is going to interrupt any property capture possibilities. There's still no support for these infantry, so the recon will get another free-ish hit. See how it decides to go about its life. It's just going to back off. No reason to risk one's health in order to attack an infantry on the mountain. There is always the risk of you attack the infantry and then it steps down here and then you get just kind of trapped and a tank takes you out. And you just don't have any vision over there anymore. And you cry. The Quick Slow went for a very quick comm tower here. That's certainly looking to be in recognition of how contested they can be, because now we're in the situation where Quick Slow has an artillery staring at their own comm tower, which is a nice place to be, in comparison to having an artillery staring at a neutral comm tower, which just means you can stop captures from happening. Doesn't necessarily mean that you can get your own captures going, as there is quite a few units here for Quick Slow to contest it. In exchange, Dark Raider has got some better captures going on at the top there, and might be able to just crack this artillery coverage on this comm tower and take it. Then the situation will be flipped. You're one of the rare players who will build an APC with extra funds and make it double time your HQ to protect it. You don't usually have to do that. It does take some moving, when to move the black belt off and when not to is something that comes with experience, I guess. It's possible on this map. If the meta is always to move the black belt off, you could just rush their HQ and win. You'd have to see how consistent people do it. Or how consistently. Okay. Dark Raider is going to try and just take this comm tower. The artillery fires. Ooh, and Quick Slow goes for the capture on this comm tower. A lot of units shown. You have the artillery revealed. Gets attacked and kind of broken through. And then Dark Raider just retreats. A complete retreat on this front. That's going to be very good for preserving unit health. It does mean that Quick Slow is going to have a few turns here with double comm tower versus no comm tower. Which could be real bad. We'll see though if this is just going to come down to a complete exchange of corners. That'll benefit both players. It kind of benefits Quick Slow more because Quick Slow just traded a corner where most of the properties were neutral or Dark Raiders already for one that had pretty much all Dark Raider properties. So income-wise, it will definitely favor quick slow. But, you know, comm tower-wise, Dark Raider will go from having no comm towers to having a comm tower. So, you know, both players are benefiting from an exchange of corners in their own ways. A little bit risky for quick slow to attack into this. It's almost just a trade of a tank for a tank there, I guess. Ooh, an urban blight. Well, that will slow down the comm tower capture. It does look like Dark Raider did a pretty good job of making sure units aren't just standing on cities for free. And outside, that's not outside. Slow did have to expose a bunch of units to do this, and we might just see a Drake super quickly follow up the Kindle normal power, which will be a very painful experience for Kindle. Attack in here, get a whole bunch of really nice swings. Still about a bar off. There might have been like some sacrifices that Dark Raider could have gone for, but at the same time, you're probably okay. Like, how much can Kindle possibly overcharge you? We'll find out, I guess. Okay, so the bar is charged completely. That was a 9 too. That's a double comm tower privilege there. Yeah, it's probably like about another bar or so. It's not so bad for getting overcharged. And at the same time, a lot of units kind of had to expose themselves. This copter is out of range of this anti-air, at least. Dark Raider gets the comm tower. Gets the super that does a bunch of interrupts. It doesn't interrupt this one, but it does interrupt this one. And so maybe some vehicles can come down and try and save that city. We'll find out. I'd be hesitant as Dark Raider to place some units for repairs, but you can always do that with a 1 health unit. You don't care if a 1 health unit gets hit with an Urban Blight. It's already at 1 after all. So it doesn't look like the city is actually going to get saved, because 9 helicopter, especially a Drake one, is not going to be enough to interrupt it. But these units might just get, these infantry might get killed off, and then Dark Raider can take the cities back anyway. There's no vehicles at all down here for quick slow. So these infantry are all ripe for the picking. Ooh, Dark Raider's not caught on to that though. Just playing it nice and safe. Slow and steady definitely does win the race when it comes to Drake versus Kindle. Do have the Urban Blight again. It looks very good. So few units are ever on cities. So that literally do. It did more than that. These are not being registered. It's like there's no way that Urban Blight did like 600 damage. Yeah. Urban Blight for 600 damage would indeed be rather bad. You do get a tiny bit more from this production that didn't get factored in. And we'll see if any strikes happen from properties. That will be another nice advantage to it. Looks like not a single one happens. That was just kind of a really weak Urban Blight. I'm so sorry, Shadow. Congratulations on your victory in it, though. Oh, it is triple comm towers. I didn't even notice there was comm towers back here. Oh, wow. So Kindle had triple comm tower for a while. Big ol' swings. It's a little painful for sure. Neotank on its way. That was a first strike. Almost went even. Drake barely comes out on top. Okay, so it was some very nice interrupts. So maintaining a 5k income lead, which is definitely good. And should help a little bit with how devastating the Drake supers can be. But at the same time, those Drake supers, they're very devastating. This Blackwood's going to run out of fuel and crash. And this entire front is going to be pretty easy for Dark Raider to take back. Even with the Urban Blights. I'd be pretty surprised if Dark Raider is not able to get a super here, although, man, quite a few sacrifices are having to be made for the cause. Oh my gosh. Need what? 50? There we go. The Typhoon. There's another like 20k or so. It's pretty good. The Neotank is definitely an issue for Quixo to deal with. We do have the Urban Blight. It does hit this tank. It hits this capturing infantry, but again, Dark Raider does a really good job of just avoiding most of the damage. So much so that it would really behoove Quixo to just not Urban Blight. You'd probably just use a high society at some point. Or just wait till you have better opportunities. So very well done here by Dark Raider to move back into this area. Notice that Quixo is like way invested over here. Your own advantages. This is down to 11 fuel, but this Blackboat's still alive. You can help super repair stuff on this HQ. You start flipping. Now every single unit in the south for Quixo has been taken out, so it looks like we're going to offer into another corner trade. This time it's going to be favoring a little bit more Dark Raider, unless of course Quixo again gets both of the central comm towers. That would be a little bit painful for sure. Okay, striking in there. It's chilling on the city and attacking with the copter into other copter range. It's kind of okay. I think the main idea for it for Dark Raider is that it's going to generate a lot of charge and get closer to the super. Because these copters come and they get amazing first strikes, like kill this copter and then strike from the city, kill this copter, and then the two anti-airs get their revenge. And that just kind of makes a ton of charge for both players, but Drake's the one that benefits by far the most from there being more charge in the world. Okay, so the comm tower does get interrupted. It does mean Quixo has triple comm tower against single comm tower again. Although there's going to be quite a few attacks here that Dark Raider is going to be able to get in retaliation for it. The artillery also gets to fire. I'm going to use the normal power. The artillery also gets to fire on a medium tank. Normal tanks go after the medium tank. Infantry is going to try and finish it off. Infantry does finish it off. It's a huge hit to Quick Slow's standing army there. And, you know, the 1 damage still does interrupt these captures and stuff like that. It does some annoying stuff. It's not as good, of course, as the super, but if you got most of those kills there, can't really complain too much. Dark Raider even has the income lead for a short period here. You were not happy with the copter trade? I think the copter trade was really good for you. You got to trade... Essentially, you traded 2 Drake copters for 2 Kindle copters, which is a good trade, and it got a ton of charge. Blight? That's a much better urban blight because you get to use the that city boost. Helicopter attack northeast 5C. You guys don't know what that was then. Both players' HQs are looking a little tiny. Well, right now Dark Raider's the only one that's HQ's looking kind of vulnerable. Quick Slow's moved the whole army over here. Okay, we're attacking, kill off this tank. It's definitely, this is what you really want to do. You don't want to keep pushing forward and forward and forward more into your opponent's reinforcements. You'll go for all of the units that have kind of had to dive more into your lines, pick all of those guys off, and then your units have moved back towards your reinforcements, so your opponent's going to be the one that has to overextend if they want to continue the fight. There's more likes, then no worries. Bring in another Neo tank. I mean, the Neo tanks have been working very well here for Dark Raider, and I haven't really seen an answer from Quick Slow. No Neo tanks. Usually, I think Kindle usually will just rely on Neo tanks to fight Neo tanks, because anytime Dark Raider would leave a Neo tank next to a city like this, then Quick Slow can just come in and go pop. Again, I think these urban blights are very questionable. The only thing that Quick Slow sees is that can be hit is this one capturing infantry. And I guess you get a slightly strong attack on a Neo tank. With a tank? I mean, just save it. A nice front switch here from Dark Raider to kind of catch these units off guard, caught between the side of the map and now this army of tanks. They'll just kind of all get wiped out. So a very nice front switch and just leaving the teched up units to fight for the most part on this front. So is back to having a nice income lead though. And very, very nicely here, Quick Slow makes sure to target down the only infantry on this entire front. So it doesn't really matter as much. I mean, it still matters that these tanks get to come in here and kill off all these units, but it doesn't mean that Quick Slow is going to lose any properties because of it. Because there's the infantries are way down here. Very aggressive copter attacks on this. I mean, I guess it's fine to go for that. The Neo-Tank will just heal up to 3, kill off this tank, and then anti-air will kill one of these copters. And then the other Neo-Tank comes in and strikes. I mean, it's still looking very good for Dark Raider over here. Bunch of units get taken out here. Smackety smackety. I like the falling back. Just preserve the unit count as best you can. As you can see, Quick Slow's up like 4k in income, which is nice, but down a ton in unit value. So it would take a lot of turns before that income will make a difference in the standing armies. Rest in peace, Blackboat. You did great. I think it's taken out. Get the Drake super. It still did almost. I guess it did do 20,000. Still doing great damage. It does interrupt multiple captures. That's the difference between. That's the big difference between Drake super and the Kindle's Urban Blight. Kindle's doing Urban Blight and hitting like 3 units, 4 units, or something like that. Drake just hits the super and it hits every single unit, so it's just guaranteed value. You don't have to have any timing necessarily to go with it. Most of the timing stuff will just come down to whether or not you use the normal power or the super. Okay, we do have the Neo Tank from Quick Slow now. So that's going to be a decent answer for the Drake Neo Tank. Potentially. It's, well, you don't have to only have a heavy or high value unit to fight a Neo Tank. You can also use artillery, but you got to be real crafty with it. You can also use copters, but that's something you do have to be careful with, because if your opponent's got very nice use of anti-airs, then your copters will dive in on the Neo Tank and just get shredded. The thing you don't want to use is, at least usually you don't want to rely on medium tanks to try and fight Neo Tanks, because the Neo Tanks have an extra move and they hit way harder. So if your medium tank gets caught by the faster moving Neo Tank with a first strike, you'll just be so sad. So this guy probably shouldn't be standing on the comm tower unless he just finished the capture. But this is another case of kind of just baiting out the Urban Blight. It's tempting, I guess. You'd be like, I'll use my Urban Blight to delay this capture. But that is not worth the power unless there's follow-up. So yeah, Quickslow's going to hold it this time. Very good. Now it has 2 cities? Maybe. Might start considering it, but I still would just hold it. Okay, 2 cities is what was enough for Quickslow. Yeah, I would definitely just hold that power, because it's way more valuable to get the extra firepower attacking off of the cities, or even just using high society now that there's really large standing armies. In comparison to just delaying these captures by a single turn. I skipped your question, Mega Man. There's a Kindle medium tank on a city with 3 towers. It will hit a Neo tank very hard. The main problem is that medium tanks are slower than Neo tanks, so they have a really hard time of catching them. We have a Drake fighter. That's cute. Fluffy's back. Welcome back. Mega tank would shut down the Neo tank, or Bomber would let you hunt them down. A Bomber can do it. Mega tanks not typically, unless the Neo tanks are moving aggressively towards the base that the Mega tank comes from. Mega tanks are just really slow, and they also don't really appreciate being hit by Neo tanks, which is a problem because Mega tanks only have 3 ammo. And there's a lot of low health vehicles that can just kind of slam in. We got recons and weak tanks. So they'll just absorb the ammo of the Mega tank, and then the Neo tanks kill your Mega tank. That can be very risky. It works if the Neo tanks are like attacking in towards your base, and then the forward movement of the Mega tank, not so much of a big deal. And it's harder for your opponent to have a bunch of stuff to just sacrifice in there. You're expecting a bomber or a stealth. You only learn later that stealths were banned. I know the game has definitely come down to let's just keep swapping corners here. Lots of front switches. Okay, so yeah, now we have a nice army of Kindle Neos. Well, okay. We attacking in here. It looks... This is such a sad sight for Kindle. This Neo tank on the road that just moved into range of another Neo tank. Yeah, as Drake, if I'm seeing I can get a Neo tank attack at the very least, I'm like, well, maybe I can make it to the super. Neo tanks are mighty expensive units. Whop. Neo tank can reach this medium tank in theory, but only if Dark Raider spots it, which could be possible if these tanks go for some tank first strikes over here, like so, and then suddenly Dark Raider getting the super is very, very doable. Oh, the Neo tank didn't go for it. Probably shouldn't be standing on the city. Like, you can strike from here. I mean, I think I would definitely hit the medium tank, right? Maybe it's not worth it, but getting the super that turn would be really good. It's probably worth it. You hit the medium tank, you hit the super, and you just go to the bank smiling. The day limits? Maybe. It's pretty much you either have capture limits or you have day limits. You don't really need to have both. I mean, I know they have both on Live League, but... not super needed. So, oh, my bad. So this time we have the super from Kindle. That kind of surprises me because this looked, to me, this looks more like a an urban blight turn because the Neo tanks on the city, and then you have good units next to cities. Maybe this one's not possible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can't quite get this Neo tank to strike unless you went through here, but the fighter's in the way. Or you could go through this way, I guess. Went with high society instead. Definitely gives some big swings. Oh. The infantry do 2 damage to the tanks. Okay, so this was definitely some big swings. Dark Ritter is now going to be able to pop the super. Does a good 30k. Go for a bunch of nice little attacks here. Every single Neo tank. Okay, this Neo tank survived. Most of the Neo tanks got wiped out. I think getting the Drake super a turn earlier would have definitely been good. It might have even just closed the game immediately. Because you're bad at endgame? Yeah, that's fair. That just means you need to play more of them so you get better at the endgame. Quick Slow just resigns. Pipe Runner into resign. Wow. So I think Quick Slow is definitely still in the game, but down quite a few units is going to, and Quick Slow is going to struggle more and more as the game goes on because the Drake super scales so much better with those late game armies. Purple Nightmare, you definitely have a problem with global damage. It's tough. That was a well played game though. There was lots of front switching back and forth. Quickslow might have been able to try and go for an HQ cap one of those times. Not quite sure. But yeah, I would also agree with Fluffy. It's best to not resign until you're convinced you've lost. Quickslow might have been convinced at this point though, but I think the game is still ongoing. Advanced Warrior Advanced. Nice. Okay, that's the end of the stream. I hope everyone enjoyed. You felt very behind for most of it. Yeah. You definitely had a rough start, but once you got into the mid game and started going to the supers, things start looking a lot better, of course. A seasonal effect of disorder. Yeah, see you guys Wednesday for the Valentine's Day stream. I think I'm going to be playing Sayonara Wild Hearts. It looks pretty good. So not Advanced Wars. Sorry. And then I'm going to be busy on Friday. So it's just 2 streams this week. And then we'll be back at the 3 next one. Hope everyone enjoyed. Thanks for watching.
It's Go7, king of the penguins. Of all the penguins, he is king. It's Go7, king of the penguins. Being king of the penguins,